Here comes the latest F-150 Lightning. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from Ford is F-150 Lightning Marketing Manager Will Marchand. Hi, Will.
Hi, Fred. How you doing?
Great. And the 2026 F-150 Lightning is being unveiled. Really a specific model here, I think. Let's get an overview of what's new and different.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're debuting our 2026 F-150 Lightning STX. STX is pretty cool. It's kind of designed to replace XLT and bring more capability to our entry levels series. So we're adding 50 miles of range to the truck, 84 horsepower, over 2,000 pounds of towing, and then a bunch of additional kit for appearance. So we get new all-terrain tires and wheels, off-road running boards, a unique grille, some cool grabber blue color accents all the way around the truck that we've leaned into from previous model years. Some new badging around the vehicle as well. And on the inside, we've got this grabber blue accent around the stitching and some other places inside the vehicle. We've got some branded STX stitching in there. And so it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool setup, all for the same price as the outgoing XLT. So really delivering as much value and capability as we can.
So this will start at around what? Pricing wise?
63,345, if I'm correct.
That's not an about. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So tell us some specifics here. When you talk about range and things like that, let's get into the numbers, things that people would be interested in knowing if they're considering this.
Yeah, absolutely. So STX has 290 miles of range. That's up from 240. So it's a big bump that gives people a lot more peace of mind, I think, in their day-to-day and use of the vehicle. And then also, like I said, up 84 horsepower. So we go from 452 horsepower to 536. Not that we really ever needed more horsepower, but that just kind of comes with the larger battery pack. So that's just the physics of the electrical world. So because of that as well, we have that more power. We also have more towing capability. So for those customers who need to haul and tow, you've got a little bit more juice behind you to move heavier equipment. So you should feel a little
What
bit
do the
more good.
numbers look like? What do the numbers look like there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So our max towing is 10,000 pounds for STX with the max trailer tow package. And then for the regular tow package, it's 7,700 pounds. So just to kind of rewind us a little bit, XLT's base towing was 5,000 pounds. And with max trailer tow, it could be 7,700. This kind of lifts everything up the next step. So now our base towing is 7,700, and with max tow, it's 10,000 pounds. So again, gives it a little bit more capability in that space.
And tell us more details about the styling and the new colors.
Yeah. So we've added three new colors. So we've added ruby red tinted clear coat to replace rapid red. Uh, if you put the truck side by side, you'll see a difference. A lot of people, if you haven't seen one or the other before, say they look pretty similar. But then we also have marsh gray, which you'll see in other places in the lineup across the company. So we've got an Expedition, an Explorer, an F-150, and a Super Duty. So we're bringing that now to F-150 Lightning. It gives it a little bit more of that well, I guess you could say kind of more rugged color way. And then we have Argon Blue, which is one of my favorites as well. We've for years had Antimatter Blue, which has been a really dark, great highlight color. But this brings us a little bit more brilliant blue that will probably be a little bit more popular for people who want something that's more striking and more easily noticeable. Antimatter Blue kind of flies under the radar. A lot of people think it's black the first time they see it.
And as you mentioned, this is replacing, I guess, the existing XLT.
That's
Tell us about the full Lightning lineup there.
Absolutely. So we've got our Pro Series really designed for our commercial customers. That has about 300 miles of range to start in 26 model year. Then we have STX with 290. That's our first entry level, really for our retail customers. And then we have Flash. That's of course the tech forward truck that everyone knows and loves from 24 model year when that debuted. So Flash is out, doing great. It's got Blue Cruise, right? All of that cool technology, but for a great price. Then above Flash, we've got Lariat. Lariat's the really premium luxury truck with that same tech that's in Flash, so Bang & Olufsen audio, Blue Cruise, hands-free driving. That really nice ActiveX interior. And then of course Platinum. That's our every box checked, beautiful interior, right? We've got the Nirvana leather seats and massaging seats and 14 speaker Bang & Olufsen Unleashed audio system. Basically every option you can have is this platinum. It's loaded. So really nice lineup.
Terrific. So tell us more about what you've learned from customers in creating the new STX.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Fred. The reality is we took some time and looked at what our customers are doing with their trucks. And the vast majority of them, after they were taking delivery, they were adding more aggressive wheels and unique looking tires on their trucks. They were adding more color accents around their vehicles. They were swapping out the running boards for just stuff that looks a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more capable and rugged. And so we said, well, we could probably capitalize on this opportunity, seeing what customers are doing, making their trucks more rugged and try and deliver something that's more turnkey for them, right? So they don't have to purchase a truck and then go buy all this other stuff in the aftermarket just to, make their vehicle how they want it to look. So now the truck, I think, is a little bit more turnkey for customers. It has a cooler appearance. And the reality is if some things are a little bit too forward, right? So let's say someone doesn't really enjoy the graphics that's on STX. We have a no cost delete. So they can check a box and the truck will be delivered just like a typical looking Lightning with no graphics all over it. So no big deal for them, right? So it's just as customizable as we can make it. And I think it's going to be great for customers.
Now, you've, I understand, been behind the wheel of one F-150 Lightning or another for a number of years now.
Yeah.
Tell us your thoughts. Is this
Wow.
the right thing for the typical F-150 buyer who hasn't gone electric yet, or
Yeah. Yeah.
who are you bringing in, and what's been your experience?
I would say that if I were talking to anyone who hasn't driven an F-150 Lightning, first thing you got to do is just get behind the wheel. Go to one of your local dealerships, hop behind the wheel, drive one, feel the power, the torque, the smooth and quiet, immediate drivetrain. It's a different type of experience. It's like someone's strapped a rocket ship to an aircraft carrier, right? So, I mean, it's wonderful to drive. But aside from that, I mean, when you're talking about assessing if this is something that I should have, in my personal life, right, as a customer, it's really about understanding your duty cycle. So, there's most customers, when they buy their pickup truck, right, they're buying it for the occasional imperative. They're looking out for, hey, I'm buying this because occasionally I'm going to need to haul mulch from wherever and throw it in my gardens. I'm going to need to take 1,000 pounds of pavers and build out my backyard. I want to help my friends move their couches, their TVs, and their big dogs, right? So look at what your duty cycle is, how you're going to use your vehicle. And if you think that, hey, I can do the same thing with this truck, I can tell you one thing: you're going to have to do a lot less maintenance. You're going to have the luxury of being able to wake up every morning with a full tank of quote unquote gas, and not have to really look back at some of those things. It's wonderful. So yeah, I think it takes a bit of introspection and understanding and really thinking about how you use your vehicle. But when you have that understanding, all it does is equip you better as a customer to go out and make the right decision for yourself. So your next vehicle is something you're super happy with. So highly recommend anyone who has an F-150 who does a lot of daily driving and local runabout to look at an F-150 Lightning, because any full-size pickup truck can be great, but an F-150 Lightning, I think, will be wonderful for anyone who gets behind the wheel and gets it a try.
And the charging at home experience, of course, makes it really great. But for those who either can't for different circumstances or are taking trips, tell us
Yeah.
about the charging experience today and how that's evolved.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have, well over 100,000 charging points across the U.S. with the Blueable Charge Network. So if a customer, does purchase a vehicle, they don't have home charging, they can absolutely charge publicly all over America, all over North America, to be clear. So all you've got to do is, take your vehicle to any DC fast charger around, plug it in. A lot of the chargers now have plug-in charge, so you don't even have to do anything other than plug the truck in. A little handshake happens on the back end. The vehicle syncs with the charging infrastructure, attaches to your account, and starts charging. It's really wonderful. So it's a pretty simple setup, and charging takes 30 to 40 minutes if you're going from very low state of charge to a high state of charge. And you got to think in reality too. Most people, if they're going on a long trip, if you're going to drive 200, 300 miles, you know, they're already going to stop to go to the bathroom, to stretch their legs, to get some food. And that might already take them 15, 20 minutes. So we're talking about a net of maybe 10 or 20 minutes of extra time where it's just like, all right, slow down, have your meal, walk around a little bit, stretch your legs, truck will get juiced up and you'll be back on the road. And it'll be, for you, not a huge change in what you're really doing. So it's still a great experience. There's tons of chargers around, and we also have access to Tesla's network as of over a year ago at this point. So there's even more charge points around the U.S. and North America. And the reality is, it's only getting more and more seamless and more easy. So try it out.
And does that require an adapter at the charger?
Yeah, so Tesla's chargers use an NACS port and plug. So we use an NACS adapter that is available on all 2026 F-150 Lightnings as well. So when you order or pick up your Lightning, make sure you've got your NACS adapter included. That makes sure you can get to any NACS enabled charging station across the US, North America.
Terrific. Well, bottom line, you've told us about pricing, where things start. So when can people get one of these in their driveway?
Yeah, absolutely. We start up production later this year, so maybe late this year, early next year is when they'll land on dealer lots. I look forward to people, walking around them on the lots, kick the tires, check them out, sit in the seat, go drive one. They're going to be a lot of fun, and they're going to be, like I said, every bit as capable as I think you're going to need and want them to be. So please check out F-150 Lightning STX. I'm very excited for everyone.
Is there a specific site they should go to check it out?
Yeah, I mean, you can hop on Ford.com, and when we launch our 2026 page, that'll be later this year. It'll start showing up, but hand raisers can obviously jump on Ford.com and take a look around.
And just an overall thought here about that, because Ford has announced that they're really going to be introducing some lower priced vehicles and trucks coming in the not too distant future. This whole ecosystem, the electric ecosystem that's coming out, where does this fit in?
Yeah, Fred. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about future products, but I can tell you that this truck is positioned exactly where it should be, right? So this is our full size pickup truck that's all electric. That's really designed to give that capability of a customer who needs that size and full, capability and power, and an opportunity to have an electrified powertrain. So, I mean, I think, in the greater scheme of things, while we are an electrified vehicle, right, we're also an F series. And so, if you think about what you're going to need as an F series customer, you have this power of choice. You can choose your different powertrain. You've got gas, you've got hybrid, you've got electric. Choose the powertrain that fits for you best. From the electrified world, again, we're going to have at this case, at this point in time, we've got the most power and torque, towing and hauling capability in the lineup. All three vehicles that we have right now. But in the big picture, we'll have to see how it shakes out.
Once again, it's Ford.com. You could have guessed that, right?
You
Will
got it.
Marchand, thanks for spending time with us.
Thanks, Fred.